I don't like the iPhone 17 Pro. There, I said it. I know that's sacrilegious to say here on Tech YouTube, but trust me, I have my reasons, and I'd like to go over them in this video. So we just recently did a review of the iPhone Air. I'll have it linked below. And to cut to the chase, I really loved the iPhone Air. Before that, I was using an iPhone 16 Pro, and before that, an iPhone 13 Pro Max. So I do have experience with Pro iPhones. And generally, I always preferred them. But using the Air made me kind of reevaluate what I truly value in a phone, what really means a lot to me. What I was so impressed about with the Air was that it was just so easy to use, and specifically, it was easy to use in one hand. When I first got my 13 Pro Max years ago, that was my first OLED iPhone, my first Pro iPhone, and I remember being blown away by everything about it. I didn't really care initially that it was so heavy and thick, because to me that just felt premium. But I kept that 13 Pro Max for 3 years. And it was at the end of those 3 years that I was really just completely tired of it. I largely switched to a Samsung Galaxy S23 by that final year as a secondary phone because I just really couldn't handle the weight of that phone anymore, of the 13 Pro Max, I mean. I dropped it on my foot, and as silly as that sounds, it had really hurt, and I just knew that I needed a change. So when I upgraded to the 16 Pro, my idea was that the 16 Pro would be a lot easier to use in one hand and would also be lighter. And to be clear, it was. The 16 Pro, which I've been dailing for the last year, has been overall a much more pleasant phone to use than the 13 Pro Max, and it is able to be used in one hand, and it is lighter. However, when I switched to the iPhone Air for the review, everything just felt to a whole nother level of usable. I loved that the iPhone Air could so easily be held in one hand, whether that be to easily take phone calls, hold it up to watch videos, easily go in my pocket. I just loved that. And also, I'm really not the kind of person who uses my phone for pro tasks at this point. We do make YouTube videos, but we don't film them on my phone. And when I really want to watch videos, I tend to do it on my iPad Pro. So for me, the main priority of a phone is that it does things, phone things essentially, really well. And the iPhone Air did that for me. And it was off the heels of that review that I got the 17 Pro for review, and I just really haven't liked it. This phone, to cut to the chase, is just too heavy, as you could probably guess based on everything I was already saying. It's only a little bit heavier than the 16 Pro, but to me it feels way heavier. I don't really know why. I guess it must be something with the weight distribution, but other people I've shown it to agree. I've shown them both the 16 Pro and the 17 Pro to hold, and every single person I did this with agreed the 17 Pro just feels way heavier. Could be weight distribution, might be something psychological going on with the fact the 17 Pro is thicker. And I'll also admit, I really just don't like the design. I think the design is ugly. I think that two-toned design on the back. What it reminds me of is I remember when the iPhone 6 and 6S were the predominant iPhones, the lifeproof case was so popular. It may still be around now that I don't tend to see it so much. The lifeproof case did offer a ton of utility. It basically waterproofed your phone, if I remember correctly. It gave it a ton of protection, but it also killed so much of what I believe is the aesthetic appeal of the iPhone. And even without a big case on it, that's just how I feel about the 17 Pro in general. I think it's pretty ugly. I think it's the ugliest iPhone I've ever seen, at least. And at the end of the Air review, we only were using it for the review. I had to give it back, and I was sad about that. At the end of the 17 Pro review, I went back to my 16 Pro and I really didn't care. I didn't miss it at all. I loved that the 16 Pro was at least a little bit lighter to go back to as my daily phone. And that's just kind of the story here of the 17 Pro. To be clear, are there things that you're gaining with this? A better telephoto camera? Yeah, absolutely. The telephoto camera compared to the 16 Pro or any older iPhone is significantly better. It's a bigger sensor. The photos are better. The speaker coming from the already great 16 Pro speaker is also significantly better, and I love that. But to me, none of that is worth the weight, the ugliness, just overall the, I guess you could say, function over form attitude of the iPhone 17 Pro. I just don't personally find it worth it. Are there people who will appreciate it? Absolutely. The battery is pretty good. Yeah, I mean, it's actually a lot better Even in the 16 Pro, it felt like to me, my 16 Pro after a year of use anyway, the battery is awesome. And if you're someone who is using your phone all day, whether that be just getting things done on it all day, playing games perhaps, making content on it, relying on those cameras and speaker, that's all going to be really cool in the 17 Pro, perhaps better, and actually, yes, for sure better than with any other iPhone. But if you're someone like me who just really uses the iPhone as a phone and just wants that premium experience, the reason many of us bought the Pro in the past was because we wanted the premium iPhone experience. I don't know if this is going to be the phone for you. I think the Air may be better. I really do encourage you to watch our full Air review linked below, because I think in many ways that really is the iPhone to get if you just want that best iPhone experience, especially if you value one-handability and lightness. Those are really things the Air cannot compare to any other iPhone with, at least right now in the current lineup. So to be clear, is the 17 Pro a bad phone? No. It's just not the phone for me, and I think it may not be the phone for you if you're watching this video, if your use case is anything like mine. I do encourage you to go to the Apple Store or wherever it may be on display where you live and try it. You may not agree with me. You may find that all those things are not an issue for you. But just considering that the press around this phone, the coverage has been so extremely positive to my mind, and that of the Airs has been so negative, I just thought I had to share my experience of not really liking the 17 Pro. Overall, that's how I feel. I appreciate you watching the video, and as I mentioned before, go ahead and watch our Air review if you want to get a sense of how I feel about the Air. We'll be doing more videos on iPhones coming up, as well as other tech products. Christian from Erickson Films.